Newcastle United's transfer business is heating up. So from uncovering the details regarding a massive £78 million done deal, to Fabrizio Romano doubling down on a massive transfer, to Newcastle making contact over signing Davide Bartesaghi, to Newcastle cooking a genius free transfer signing. We'll also discuss details regarding the Tyno Livramento nightmare injury. Join us as we'll break it all down and discuss the latest Newcastle United transfer news.
Let's go!
So starting off, Newcastle United have reportedly been dealt a major blow after Tyno Livramento's World Cup campaign ended, before it even began due to injury. The 23-year-old was selected in England squad, despite concerns over his fitness heading into the tournament, and those fears now appear to have been justified. Reports from the England camp suggest Livramento has suffered a calf injury that will rule him out of the competition, forcing him to return home before England have played their opening match. Initial reports pointed towards a hamstring problem, but subsequent updates indicate the issue is instead related to his calf. Either way, the expected recovery period is measured in weeks rather than days, making any involvement in the tournament impossible. For Livramento, it is a bitter disappointment. After working hard to force his way into the England setup, the Newcastle defender looked set to experience his first major international tournament. Instead, his World Cup dream has been cut short before it truly began. The situation also raises questions about England's squad selection. Many Newcastle supporters were surprised when Livramento was included while Lewis Hall was overlooked. Hall had finished the season fully fit and enjoyed an impressive campaign, whereas Livramento's fitness situation appeared far less certain. Now, with Livramento heading home injured and reports suggesting Hall still will not receive a late call-up, the decision is likely to face even greater scrutiny. Instead, England are reportedly considering alternative defensive reinforcements, with Chelsea defender Trevoh Chalobah among the names mentioned as a possible replacement. From Newcastle's perspective, the priority will now be ensuring Livramento returns to full fitness as quickly as possible. The timing is far from ideal given the club's current situation at full-back. With Kieran Trippier and Emil Kraft having departed, Livramento was expected to play a crucial role heading into the new season alongside Lewis Hall. Any extended absence would increase the urgency for Ross Wilson and Eddie Howe to strengthen the position during the summer transfer window. There is at least one silver lining for Newcastle. If there had been any lingering speculation regarding a potential transfer away from St James Park, an injury setback is unlikely to encourage interested clubs to make a major move this summer. Newcastle remain determined to keep Livramento regardless, viewing him as one of the cornerstones of the squad's future. As for England, the tournament continues without him. As for Newcastle fans, many will be left wondering what Lewis Hall must be thinking. After an excellent season and with Livramento now unavailable, the decision to overlook him appears even harder to understand. For Livramento himself, the focus now shifts entirely towards recovery and ensuring he is fully fit for Newcastle's pre-season preparations. After such a cruel setback, the club will be hoping this proves to be only a short interruption, rather than the start of another frustrating spell on the sidelines. With that said, in some transfer news, Newcastle United are reportedly in a two-way battle with Arsenal for the signature of Celta Vigo defender Oscar Mingueza, with the versatile Spaniard expected to become available on a free transfer later this month. The 27-year-old has been on Newcastle's radar for some time, having first emerged as a potential target during the January transfer window before the club opted to postpone major recruitment plans until the summer. Now, with Ross Wilson accelerating Newcastle's squad rebuild, Mingueza has reappeared as a serious option. According to reports from Spain, Newcastle and Arsenal are currently the two clubs showing the strongest interest in the former Barcelona defender, who is set to leave Celta Vigo when his contract expires. Mingueza's versatility is a major attraction. Primarily a right-back, he is also comfortable operating as a centre-back or wing-back, giving Eddie Howe valuable tactical flexibility at a time when Newcastle are actively searching for defensive reinforcements. With Kieran Trippier and Emil Kraft both departing this summer, and only Tyno Livramento, who is now injured, is recognised as a natural senior right-back. Adding depth in that position remains one of Newcastle's biggest priorities. A free transfer for a player with significant La Liga experience would represent a low-risk opportunity in a market where defensive options are becoming increasingly expensive. However, Arsenal's involvement could present a significant obstacle. The Premier League champions can offer Champions League football, while the presence of Spanish manager Mikel Arteta may also appeal to Mingueza as he considers his next move. From Newcastle's perspective, convincing the defender may ultimately come down to the role being offered. While Arsenal can provide elite-level competition in European football, Newcastle may be able to offer a clearer pathway to regular first-team minutes, particularly given their current need for reinforcements across the back line. Despite his reputation, reports in Spain suggest Mingueza has not enjoyed his strongest campaign this season. His performances have reportedly fallen below the standards he produced in previous years, which is believed to be one of the reasons he missed out on Spain's World Cup squad. Even so, Newcastle's recruitment team may view that as an opportunity rather than a concern. A player entering his prime years, available without a transfer fee, and capable of covering multiple defensive positions fits many of the characteristics Newcastle have targeted under the current ownership. Whether that will be enough to fend off Arsenal remains to be seen. For now, Newcastle appear firmly in the race, but as has been the case with several targets this summer, they once again find themselves competing against a club able to offer Champions League football and the prestige that comes with it. The appeal of regular minutes, a prominent role under Eddie Howe, and the chance to become an important figure in Newcastle's next rebuild may ultimately determine whether Mingueza heads to Tyneside or North London. Then moving on, Newcastle United's search for fullback reinforcements this summer appears to have taken them to Italy, with reports claiming the Magpies have made contact over a potential move for AC Milan youngster Davide Bartesaghi. The 20-year-old enjoyed a breakthrough campaign last season and is regarded as one of the most promising young fullbacks emerging from Milan's system. While Newcastle's need for reinforcements on the right side of defence has received plenty of attention following the departures of Kieran Trippier and Emil Kraft, the left side of the pitch may actually be just as important. At present, Lewis Hall is the only recognised senior left-back in Eddie Howe's squad. Matt Targett's departure has left Newcastle extremely short in that position, meaning any injury to Hall would force the manager into relying on makeshift alternatives such as Dan Burn or shifting players out of position. That is why the reported interest in Bartesaghi makes a great deal of sense. The Italian fits the profile Newcastle appear to be targeting throughout this transfer window. Rather than spending huge sums on established stars, Ross Wilson has seemingly focused on identifying young players with significant room for development. The signings and links involving Ewan Yawen, Victor Munoz, Jorge Salinas, and Zadok Johanna all point towards a strategy built around acquiring talent before their values explode. Bartesaghi would fall perfectly into that category. Importantly, he would not arrive under pressure to immediately become Newcastle's first-choice left-back. Lewis Hall has firmly established himself as the club's long-term option in that position and remains one of the brightest young talents at St James Park. Instead, Bartesaghi would provide genuine competition, while also giving Howe the squad depth he currently lacks. Some reports have suggested the Italian could be viewed as a replacement for Hall, but that theory appears difficult to believe. Newcastle have invested heavily in Hall's development, and there has been little indication that either the player or the club are considering a separation. If anything, Newcastle's recruitment plans seem centered on building around Hall, rather than preparing for his departure. Another encouraging aspect of this particular rumor is that it has not emerged completely out of nowhere. Bartesaghi has been linked with Newcastle before, suggesting the club's scouting department has been monitoring him for some time. That doesn't necessarily mean a transfer is imminent, but it does add a degree of credibility to the reports. Of course, caution is still required. At the moment, most of the information is coming from Italian sources rather than journalists closely connected to Newcastle. Until the likes of Craig Hope, Chris Waugh, Luke Edwards, or Keith Downey begin reporting similar information, supporters may want to temper expectations. Nevertheless, the move itself feels logical. Newcastle clearly need another left-back. Bartesaghi is at an age where he can continue developing, and his experience in Italian football suggests he could adapt well under a coach with Howe's track record of improving young players. Whether the interest develops into a formal bid remains to be seen, but this is certainly one of the more believable Newcastle transfer links to emerge this summer. With the club looking to rebuild key areas of the squad after a disappointing campaign, signing a talented young fullback like Bartesaghi would fit perfectly with the direction Newcastle appear determined to take. Then, Newcastle United are once again facing growing uncertainty over Sandro Tonali's future after fresh claims emerged linking the Italian midfielder with a move to Tottenham Hotspur this summer. For much of the transfer window, speculation centered around interest from Arsenal and Manchester United, but those rumors have gradually cooled in recent weeks. Instead, Tottenham have now emerged as what could be Newcastle's most serious threat yet. According to transfer journalist Fabrizio Romano, Spurs are actively exploring a move for Tonali, and crucially, the player is reportedly open to the switch. Speaking on YouTube, Romano has doubled down on those claims, stating that the Newcastle midfielder is attracted by Tottenham's long-term project and particularly intrigued by the prospect of working under Roberto De Zerbi. Sandro Tonali is open to joining Tottenham. Sandro Tonali is ready to join Spurs even without European football. Even after a terrible season for Tottenham Hotspur, Tonali is attracted by the project and he wants to play for Roberto De Zerbi. The possibility to see Sandro Tonali at Tottenham is really serious. It's really concrete, Romano said. So it seems the Italian coach is believed to view Tonali as a cornerstone of his midfield rebuild and sees the 26-year-old as a player capable of leading Spurs into a new era. What's perhaps most surprising is the suggestion that Tonali would consider the move despite Tottenham's lack of European football. Ordinarily, Newcastle supporters could take comfort from the fact that Spurs have endured a difficult period and currently offer little obvious progression on paper. However, Romano insists that De Zerbi's presence changes the equation significantly. From a football perspective, the links make a degree of sense. Tonali's technical ability, work rate and tactical intelligence appear perfectly suited to the style De Zerbi prefers. Add in the familiarity of working with an Italian coach and the attraction becomes easier to understand. There are also lifestyle considerations. A move to London would undoubtedly appeal to many players, and Tottenham can offer the platform of a modern stadium, a globally recognized brand, and the status that still comes with being part of the traditional Big Six. That combination may explain why these rumors feel more substantial than previous links to Arsenal or Manchester United. For Newcastle, losing Tonali would be a huge blow. Despite occasional inconsistency last season, he remains one of the most talented players in Eddie Howe's squad and is widely viewed as a future leader within the dressing room. Recent reports even suggested he could be added to the club's leadership group following the departures of senior figures such as Kieran Trippier and Jamal Lascelles. There is also the issue of replacement quality. Finding another midfielder capable of replicating Tonali's blend of defensive discipline, passing range and intensity would not be easy, particularly in a market where elite midfielders routinely command fees well in excess of £60 million. That said, Newcastle's position is not weak. Tonali remains under a long-term contract, and there is no indication that the club are actively looking to sell. Any deal would likely require an enormous offer before Ross Wilson and Eddie Howe even considered negotiations. For now, the situation remains one to watch rather than panic about. Interest appears genuine, Tottenham's admiration is clear, and Romano's confidence has added weight to the story. But until formal talks take place between clubs, Newcastle still retain control of the situation. The coming weeks could be crucial, but if Newcastle are serious about rebuilding after a disappointing campaign, keeping hold of players like Sandro Tonali should remain one of the club's biggest priorities this summer. Then, in an exciting development, Newcastle United have reportedly secured a major new commercial partnership, agreeing a 3-year front-of-shirt sponsorship deal with sports drink company Knox Hydrate, in a move that could be worth as much as £78 million overall. The agreement comes shortly after it was confirmed that Knox would become the naming rights partner for Newcastle's Benton training complex, which will now be known as the Knox from next season. According to reports, the South African drinks brand has now significantly expanded its relationship with the club by taking over as Newcastle's principal shirt sponsor for the next 3 campaigns. While the headline figure initially appeared lower than the previous agreement with Sela, the structure of the deal paints a more positive picture. The Athletic reports that Knox will pay £10 million during the first season, with the reduced amount largely explained by the fact that Newcastle's new home shirt has already been released and sold without a sponsor displayed on the front. From year 2 onwards, the arrangement reportedly rises to £25 million per season, matching the annual value of the previous seller agreement. When combined with the reported £6 million per year training ground sponsorship, and additional commercial opportunities linked to a co-branded Newcastle United drinks range, the total value of the partnership could eventually reach around £78 million. For Newcastle, the deal represents another significant step forward commercially. Growing revenue remains crucial as the club continues trying to maximize spending power within football's financial regulations, and long-term sponsorship agreements of this scale provide important flexibility for future investment in both the squad and infrastructure. The partnership already appears to be fully underway. Visitors to NUFC's official branding and marketing materials have reportedly noticed Newcastle's crest prominently featured, although the club is still yet to formally announce the shirt sponsorship agreement. One immediate benefit for supporters is that fans who have already purchased Newcastle's 2026-27 home shirt without a sponsor will reportedly be able to have the NUFC logo added free of charge at official club stores. Whether supporters view that as an improvement to the shirt design is likely to divide opinion. The bigger talking point may be how the sponsorship logo looks on Newcastle's upcoming away and third kits. Early leaks of the blue away strip and pink third shirt have generated plenty of excitement among supporters, and many had hoped at least one of those designs might remain sponsor-free. From a business perspective, however, Newcastle's commercial team will be delighted. A sponsorship package potentially worth close to £80 million represents a substantial boost to the club's revenue streams and further demonstrates the growing commercial appeal of Newcastle United under the current ownership. While transfer headlines continue to dominate the summer, deals like this could prove just as important behind the scenes in helping the club compete financially with the Premier League's established elite in the years ahead. Then finally, if you would like to know the latest update regarding Victor Muñoz's potential move to Newcastle United, click the video link on screen now.